Good evening. The council meeting of October 1 will come to order. Would ask all in attendance to turn off or silence your electronic devices, and let us stand to honor God and country. Father, this evening we prepare to celebrate National Night Out activities, which focus on police and community interactions, with a goal to bring our community together to support law enforcement and reduce crime. May each one of us realize we are part of a community. Father, I pray your people find their voices and stand strong with our police officers, our first responders, and our overall community. May negative rancor, disrespect, and senseless attacks cease. As your people, may we mobilize in prayer for our city, our neighborhoods, and our neighbors, and those who strive to serve and protect us. May those who choose to build and celebrate the best in our community join us this evening at Mission Hill Church for National Night Out. Thank you for the opportunity for us to gather together, and may your hand guide the proceedings of this business meeting of the city. Amen. Amen. Hand to heart, let us pledge our nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, I would call Representative McClure to the podium. In the city of Temple Terrace, we are truly blessed to have a servant leader who represents us in Tallahassee. Representative McClure has proven to not only be a partner and a friend, but an ally. He absolutely respects home rule, but when we need someone to go to bat for us, he has been at the ready and is not someone, I shared with him earlier this afternoon, not someone who pawns us off to a secretary or an assistant, but personally picks up his phone call and is at the ready to meet and serve our community. So the city of Temple Terrace thanks you, and Representative McClure wanted to give you the opportunity to give greetings to our council and to our citizens. Yeah,
Mayor, thank you, and thank all of you. As we were discussing earlier today, I think I'm really the lucky one in this relationship because it's really easy to represent Temple Terrace with all the hard work you guys are doing, and so my position has been since the beginning and will maintain as long as I'm in office that I'm here for y'all. And to the extent that the state, my office, can be of assistance to Temple Terrace to help you all continue with your great work, I'm absolutely here for you. So thank you for having me this evening, and thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. And we look forward, the representative is going to be joining us at National Night Out as well, so we appreciate him spending a better part of the day with us. Persons wishing to be heard on items not on the agenda, there are forms available in the back of the room and may be turned into the clerk to your right. And if Chief Kemp would please approach the podium. Chief, in honor of Fire Prevention Week, we present this proclamation. Whereas the City of Temple Terrace is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Temple Terrace. Fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally. Homes are the locations where people are at the greatest risk from fire, and whereas home fires killed 2,630 people in the United States in 2017, and fire departments in the United States responded to 357,000 home fires, with most U.S. fire deaths occurring in homes. When the smoke alarm sounds, Temple Terrace residents may have less than 2 minutes for a safe escape. Residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. Whereas Temple Terrace residents should practice the home fire escape plan with everyone in the household and teach children to escape on their own in case adults cannot help them. And whereas Temple Terrace residents should make sure that everyone in the home knows how to call 911. The 2019 Fire Prevention Week theme, Not Every Hero Wears a Cape. Plan and practice your escape, serves to remind us that we need to take personal steps to increase safety from fire. Now, therefore, I, Mel Gerardo, by virtue of the authority vested in me as Mayor of the City of Temple Terrace, do hereby proclaim October 6th through the 12th, 2019 as Fire Prevention Week. Chief, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Mayor, Council, City Manager. This is a great time of the year for us in the fire department. And for the city. Just want to remind everybody that on Saturday, October 12th, from 9 to 1:30 at Fire Station 1, located at 124 Bullard Parkway, we're having this year's, along with Temple Terrace Reads, our open house. That's right next to the library, if you're not familiar with the area. So we would love to see, of course, everyone here in this room and watching, and everybody in the community to please come on by. It's a great event. And we have a lot of sponsors, and it's great not just for the kids, but for the entire family. I would also like to say, I'm heading out tonight for the National Night Out as well, and please, everybody, support your police officers, both here locally and nationally.
Learned that from you.
At least they got the logo now.
I know, that's,
First they got
I know,
a window.
I know.
Professional.
Got to Photoshop the chair, but
It's okay.
we still have the
If we may
logo.
continue.
Because the important change in the back.
If the minutes of the September 17, 2019 City Council meeting are acceptable, would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I move to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Are there any corrections? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay sign? Thank you. Minutes stand approved. Persons wishing to be heard on items not listed on the agenda or items on the consent agenda, a 3-minute time limit will be imposed on all comments from the public. As speakers come to the podium, please state your name and city of residence. During public comments on items not on the agenda, the city manager and directors in attendance do make note of items that are related to city business. I have no forms before me this evening, but would ask if there is anyone who would like to address council. Seeing none, we will move on. Order of business, 8A. The public hearing and approval of fiscal year 2019-2020 tax levy and budget is now open. Second reading of ordinance 1475, adopting the fiscal year 2019-2020 tax levy. Finance Director Lynn Boswell will give a brief explanation.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. In accordance with the applicable provisions of the city charter and the Florida statutes, the city council has scheduled this second of 2 public hearings on the property tax millage levy. The first hearing was held on September 17, 2019, to solicit public comments on the proposed property tax millage levy prior to the adoption of the annual budget for the fiscal year 2019-2020 fiscal year. The agenda has been structured to provide the council with the opportunity to comply with both city charter and Florida statutory requirements on the budget and tax levy. The council needs to convene a public hearing on the proposed property tax millage levy and make announcements at the public hearing prior to formal consideration of the attached ordinance. The recommended property tax millage rate is 6.555 per $1,000 of assessed value, which is the same as the current fiscal year 2019. The recommended property tax millage rate of 6.555 is 0.4488 mils, or 7.35% higher than the rolled back rate of 6.1062. Based on Councilman Ross's explanation last meeting, I will go ahead and expand again that the rolled back rate is a 6.1062. Since we are higher than the rolled back rate of 6.555, we are technically not raising taxes, but we are going above the rolled back rate. The tax mill levy is the same as fiscal year 19 as it will be in fiscal year 20. The reason for the increased rate is due to capital needs in general fund and the increased but steady costs of the operating category. Following the receipt of public comment, staff recommends that City Council should take action to adopt the attached ordinance approving the ad valorem tax rate for the fiscal year 2019-2020.
Thank you, Ms. Boswell. I would ask if there are members of the public that would like to address council on this item. Seeing none, council, questions? Seeing none, if the city clerk would please read title of ordinance 1475.
An ordinance of the City of Temple Terrace, Florida, adopting a millage rate of 6.555 mils for fiscal year 2019 through 2020. Said millage rate being 0.4488 mils, or 7.35% more than the rollback rate of 6.1062 mils, providing a severability clause and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Would entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 1475. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion, council? All in favor, please signify with aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay sign. Thank you, motion carries. Next, a second reading of Ordinance 1483, adopting the fiscal year 2019-2020 annual budget. Once again, Finance Director Lynn Boswell will give a brief explanation.
This is the second of two hearings, the first one having been held on September 17th, 2019, for the adoption and approval of the annual budget for fiscal year 19 and 20. Notifications of the first public hearing was initially provided to all property owners in the Truth and Millage notices. The original hearing was postponed due to Hurricane Dorian, and the rescheduled hearing dates were advertised pursuant to requirements of the Department of Revenue and Florida statutes. The recommended budget was presented to the City Council in a series of budget workshops to review and solicit adjustments to the allocations of the budget documents. The total city fiscal year 2019-20 budget amounts to $70,364,649. A budget summary document is attached illustrating the total budget for the upcoming fiscal year. The proposed 19-20 budget reflects the following: no increase in the ad valorem tax to 6.555 mils from the current year of 6.555 mils. No increase in water and sewer user fees. No increase in commercial sanitation rates. No increase in single-family residential sanitation rates. $556,100 in general fund capital programs. $1,622,001 in community investment tax fund expenditures to replace public safety vehicles and equipment, public works vehicles and equipment, and to refurbish public facilities and park facilities. $6,216,600 in utility system improvements and vehicle replacements, $20,000 in sanitation vehicle replacements and equipment, and $986,500 in street, sidewalk, bicycle trail, and drainage improvements, $245,000 for the project plan from the Transportation Surtax Fund. In accordance with the applicable provisions of the City Charter and the Florida statutes, the City Council has scheduled this second of two public hearings. After the City Council solicits public comment on the proposed annual budget, the Council should take action to adopt the attached ordinance approving the fiscal year 19-20 budget along with the capital improvements plan. The staff recommends that the City Council solicit public comment on the proposed fiscal year 19-20 annual budget and then take action to adopt the attached ordinance on second reading approving the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget.
Thank you, Ms. Boswell. Are there members of the public that would like to address council on this item? Seeing none, council, are there any questions? Public hearing is now closed. If the clerk would please read title of Ordinance 1483.
An ordinance of the City of Temple Terrace, Florida, adopting the final operating budget for fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2019, and ending September 30th, 2020, and the capital improvement budget, given notice of public hearings thereon, authorizing the city manager to issue such instructions as are necessary to achieve and accomplish the service programs, authorizing the city manager or the finance director to transfer monies among the departments and programs within any fund, authorizing the city manager or the finance director, upon receipt of a grant or donation, to appropriate said funds in the expenditure line item of the said program as requested by the donor grantor, providing a severability clause, effective date, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith.
Thank you. Would entertain a motion to adopt Ordinance 1483.
Move to adopt.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion, council? All in favor, please signify with aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay sign. Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Council business, is there any carryover business from our previous meeting? Seeing none, is there any new business? Councilman Ross.
Yes, I read the email that we got today from the city manager regarding the Chamber of Commerce. I was unaware of any, other than your response to them, I wasn't aware of any changes in business strategies or renaming or any of that. So I would like to move that, well, let me back up. I understand that we are not yet under contract for the 4th of July parade. I would move that we delay entering into that contract until we can invite them here and have some dialogue with them so that we can understand what their new brand or what their new change in business model is before we sign the contract. I'm not suggesting that we won't, I don't know, but I'd like to have that dialogue before we get contractually obligated. That's my motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
There is a second. Discussion. All in favor, please signify with aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay sign. Thank you. Motion carries. Is there any other new business? Seeing none, we'll go to the city manager's report. Mr. Stevenson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just really a couple announcements. I handed out the Florida League of Cities resolutions that they're looking to send off to the state. And there was a suggestion that we kind of support those resolutions from a standpoint of being the city of Temple Terrace. If I've so given that instructions, I'd be more than happy to write Florida League of Cities a letter that they can provide that letter of support. I don't know that there's anything there that has really any bearing. Certainly there is no monetary attachment to any of these resolutions, but it may be prudent just to support League of Cities with some of their motions and whatnot. So it's a pleasure of council. If you want to do something with it, I'd be more than happy to.
Would entertain a motion.
I move to direct the city manager to send a letter of support to the Florida League of Cities, supporting their resolutions for the upcoming year.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. Councilman Ross.
Can I have 30 seconds before we vote?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? I would comment in sitting on several of the committees as you are reviewing through the number one agenda item that has been adopted by the League of Cities this term really is about water and water resources. And again, I'll just give a nod to Representative McClure, who was gracious enough to invest part of the afternoon meeting with I and City Manager Stevenson. And again, our state legislature as well is very committed to water and water resources. So as the league comes, it really is a seamless integration from our officials in Tallahassee to what our cities are working on, that this is a resource that needs to be protected today and into the future. So there are several resolutions, but the overall number one agenda item for the league this year is water resources. Councilman Ross.
10 more seconds. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Did you have anything to say?
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay, very good. Any other discussion? All in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay sign. Thank you, motion carries. Mr. Stevenson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Also handed out to you this evening is the document on the surtax projects. That is the final product that had been given to the IOC. All jurisdictions turned in their project list during or before the deadline of October 1. I can tell you this, and kudos to Mr. Tinch, this is the best looking one that was submitted.
This is beautiful. This is really beautiful.
Now, if you haven't seen the others, we can certainly forward the other ones to you. This was the best representation that was given out of all 4 jurisdictions. So that being said, I need to see if we can schedule a workshop, so somewhere here in the near future, so that you guys can digest this book and see the projects. It is certainly subject to change. There is no formality that we need to go through to change it, other than this council giving us direction on what they want to see on the list. So what I'd like to do is kind of give you guys maybe a couple weeks to kind of look at this, and maybe at the next meeting try to come up with a workshop date, if you would. There is no hurry to do the workshop. We can do it whenever. So that also being said is I need each of you to look at your calendars. I need to have about a half hour's workshop with council to talk about the short-term rental ordinance that we started last year that is now obviously through the state, and they did their thing with it. So we have pretty much some ground rules that we can work on. There's a couple different directions that we can go with the short-term rental ordinance. that I'd like to discuss with you guys in a workshop setting. So
Do you want to do this before a council meeting or send?
I would like to do it before a council meeting. It would take just really a half hour for me to kind of lay this thing out. You guys have seen it before. I'll certainly send it out beforehand so that you guys have the ordinance in front of you. We've tweaked it a little bit since the last time you guys saw it, but it's substantially the same. So we haven't had a continuing problem with short-term rentals that I know of, and Mr. Baroni is shaking his head. So, but I do think it's one of those things that we need to put on the books so that we have something to approach the problem when we do have an issue. But there's a couple different directions that we can go, and I've been reaching out to some of the other jurisdictions, and it's kind of like everybody's kind of doing this. They're either going left or right with this. But I'll be reaching out to you, or Jeannie, Ms. Barlow will be reaching out to each of you to kind of set a date coming forward at a upcoming council meeting. We got National Night Out. Obviously, everybody's dressed to go. Most everybody. Reiterate next before our next meeting, there is the open house in Temple Terrace Reeds, which is a great event for everybody. Hopefully, everybody partakes in that. We've got Government Day coming up again. This is where we partner with Florida College and get students in and run the mock trial, run them through the departments. Each department head will get a student to kind of show them the ropes as far as what we do. It has been very well received with Florida College. They kind of actually reached out to us and said, when are we going to do it again? So they're excited about it. The kids love to do it, and that's coming up on the 22nd. If you guys can kind of save some time, I know that they'd love to see you in the audience.
What time?
I don't know quite yet. Lori and Jeannie are meeting with the college this week in the morning. So plans are coming together, and they're coming up with topics right now, so they're working on an agenda. So it'll be interesting. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Is there any other business to come before council? Seeing none, we'll stand adjourned. Looking forward to seeing everyone at National Night Out at Mission Hill Church.
Yeah, this is a unique.